As South Haven starts to transition from a logging town to other endeavors, it slowly keeps expanding in size, businesses, schools, and churches. In 1889, at the newly built First Baptist Church in the downtown district, a group of young women worked together to make their contribution to the new building. This group, called the New Church Aid Society, worked faithfully, earning enough money to purchase the large round stained glass window and the stained glass windows below it on the south side of the church building. Also during this time, a canning industry starts to take place, which will process the various fruit from the surrounding area farms. In 1890, Michigan's population continues to grow. In 1890, it stood at 2,093,889. While using shipping routes developed from the lumber business for the newly emerging fruit industry, people are also starting to visit this growing village. People start to notice the sandy beaches and the breathtaking sunsets, and word begins to spread. People are coming from Chicago, Milwaukee, even St. Louis, giving birth to a new industry, tourism. It's during this year that Idaho joins the Union, along with Wyoming. To the far north, the beginning of the great Klondike Gold Rush to Alaska starts. The American dream of riches and an abundant life fills the heads of the young nation's inhabitants. Back in South Haven, a number of fires takes place over the next 10 years. One such fire consumed 11 buildings on the northwest corner of Phoenix and Center Streets. Because of these fires and the loss of property, the city takes a major step forward with the building of a city waterworks and an electric light station to better equip itself for future occurrences. In 1891, basketball is originated by James A. Naismith, a Canadian-American, while at the University of Kansas. Little did he know how much it would catch on and affect American sports in the years to come. In the legislative area, the International Copyright Act is passed. This was to protect American writers from having their material plagiarized by writers from other countries, thereby protecting their contribution to the literary world. Another fire in South Haven devastates 22 buildings on the northwest side of Broadway Street. Many of the replacement buildings are still standing here in the 21st century. In 1894, electric lighting finally arrives in South Haven. The first 1,000 candle power dynamo powers 7 arc lights on the business streets and 80 32 candle lights on almost all the village street corners. In 1884, the Scott Club is organized by a group of people. The object of the club has been a progressive one from the beginning. It is to be the nucleus of all literary work in the village. Programs include literature, art, science, and education, music, and miscellaneous topics, with current events as well as questions of the day. Its original building still stands on the corner of Phoenix and Pearl Street. Part of the modernization of the village takes place with the first phone company, the Oak Telephone Company. 50 installations take place in the village, whose population stands at 1,924. In 1895, on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, Guglielmo Marconi of Italy produced a practical wireless telegraph system, better known as the radio. Here in Michigan, Mackinac Island is turned over to the state by the federal government. It becomes Michigan's first state park. In 1896, the race for the horseless carriage begins. Ransom Eli Olds brings out his practical 4-wheeled gasoline-powered automobile in Lansing. A year later, he will organize the Olds Motor Company in the same city. Also appearing on the scene that year is Henry Ford's prototype motor automobile. In 1897, William McKinley becomes the 25th President of the United States. Michigan adopts the apple blossom as the official state flower. as recorded in the booklet A History of the First Baptist Church, 1870 to 1970. Between January 1897 and December 1898, there was a schism. During this time, dissident members formed the Emmanuel Baptist Church, which met at the Scott Club. Information about how many members left the membership is not known, but it was enough for them to form their own church. Was the disagreement over doctrine, teaching, musical selection, or the pastor's preaching style? We will find out next month as our story continues.